Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. This is lesson 9 of our beginner forex trading course. Okay, and in this lesson I'm going to be talking about the different types of analysis. Okay, I'm going to be talking about 3 different types. Okay, the first one I'll talk about fundamental analysis, then I'll talk about technical analysis, then I'll also talk about sentiment analysis. Okay, all right, so what's fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis is analysis based on news events or economic events. Okay, it's analysis based on the upcoming economic events or news events. Okay, and some of those economic events could be the gross domestic product or the GDP. Okay, the next we have interest rates. Okay, we also have the unemployment rates. We have the consumer price index, which is the CPI. We also have the non-farm payroll, okay, and others, okay, and so on and so on. And the website that I'm going to use to show you what I've just explained here is Forex Factory. There are other websites out there, but I'm going to be using Forex Factory. All right, so let me head to the website and then continue my presentation. Okay, all right, so we're here on the Forex Factory website. Okay, and as you can see on the top right here, we have different tabs. Okay, but the tab that we shall be focusing on is this the calendar tab. Okay, we shall be focusing on the calendar. Okay, all right, so on the left right here, you can see that you can filter your calendar to only show the news events that are coming out today. Okay, so if I click today, it will only show me the news events that are coming out today. Okay, if I click this week, same thing, it will show me the news events that are coming out this week. Okay, and if I click this month, okay, it will show me the news events that will be coming out this month. Okay, and the next thing I want to show you is up here. Okay, as you can see, it's aligned. We have the date, okay, we have the time, the currency, the impact, detail, actual, forecast, previous, then graph. Okay, all right, so next thing I want to show you is this filter right here. Okay, so if I click on filter, so I'm able to filter out different aspects of the calendar. Okay, so I can filter, let's say I didn't want to receive any news from the Australian dollar. Okay, so I'll just deselect that. Let's say I didn't want to receive any news from the Canadian dollar, same thing, I'll just deselect that. Okay, and so on and so on. So I can also filter the event types. Okay, so I can choose not to receive any news about housing or speeches. Okay, and next thing I can also filter is the expected impact. Okay, and as you can see, it has colors. Okay, these folders have colors. Okay, and red stands for high impact news. Okay, then orange stands for medium impact news, then yellow stands for low impact news, then gray stands for non-economic. Okay, all right, so let me head back to the chart now, and as you can see right there, so let's take an example. So Wednesday, October 1st. Okay, the time 12:45 a.m. Okay, the currency, for the currency, the New Zealand dollar. Okay, what's the impact? Let's look at the impact. So yellow is, as we say, yellow means low impact news. Okay, what news will be coming out? The building consent M/M. So this is how you read it. Okay, all right, and another thing I want you to focus on is what we just talked about, the impact. Okay, so as you can see, yellow says low impact. If you just hover over this gray folder, it says non-economic. Okay, and so on and so on. So let's say you wanted to receive only high impact news, because remember, high impact news will drive the market significantly. So that the red impact, the high impact news, okay, or the red folder news as they're known. Okay, let's say this one right here. Okay, these are type of this will be the news that will drive the market significantly, so you have to watch out for those. Okay, so let's say if I go here on my filter tab, okay, then let's say you only want to receive news about the United States dollar and let's say the GBP. Okay, so I'll deselect the rest. Okay, I'll deselect the rest. Okay, then I'll leave all event types, and let's say I only wanted to receive high impact news and medium impact news. Okay, so I'll deselect the rest. Okay, and then click on apply. Okay, so now my calendar is customized to show me the upcoming news. Okay, that will be medium, okay, impact news, and red, and the high impact news, or the red folder news. Okay, for this month. Okay, remember we clicked on this month. Okay, all right, so that you can go ahead and play with this website, or do more research on how you can customize it and all that. But right now I think I've said everything I wanted to say here, so let me head back to the presentation and we continue with the different types of analysis. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're back here on the presentation. So next we're going to talk about technical analysis. Okay, so technical analysis is analysis based on concepts like support and resistance. Okay, concepts like candlestick patterns, Fibonacci ratios. It's also based on indicators like the moving average, convergence, divergence, which is also known as the MACD. Okay, and another indicator you can use is, let's say, the relative strength index, which is also known as the RSI. Okay, so now let me go to the trading view website, and then I show you what I've just explained here. Okay, all right. All right, so we're here on trading view. Okay, and I'm going to be explaining technical analysis. So I'm going to show you what I just explained about technical analysis. Okay, and remember, I say technical analysis is analysis based on concepts like support and resistance. Okay, so what you could do, okay, this is not a support and resistance video. Okay, but I'm just going to be showing it to you. Okay, and how most of the traders apply it. Okay, all right, so let's say you draw a line at the bottom right here. Okay, this right here is usually known as support. Okay, because it's at the bottom. Okay, and the line that you can draw on the top right here is usually known as the resistance. Okay, the resistance line. Okay, so what when you're trading this strategy, what most traders be looking out for is the number of touches. Okay, so let's say it was at this point. Okay, and it had one touch and the second touch. So what they'll be looking out for is, if the price comes back, so let's say price was here and it goes up and it comes back to this point. Okay, they expect it to come down again. All right, okay, or go down again, because resistance is like a ceiling. Okay, it hit, remember, resistance, this is not a resistance video once again. Okay, a resistance or support video. I'm just showing you, I'm just giving you an example on how technical analysis works. Okay, so let's say it had one touch, second touch. So what traders might do, so when it comes back to this point, they expect to sell it again. Okay, same thing with support. Okay, so let's say your support was here. Okay, so if the price comes all the way and hits this line, let's say it was here. Okay, so if price comes back and hits your support line, they expect to buy it again. Okay, so that's it. And another thing I want to show you is the indicators. Okay, so we talked about some indicators. So if you want to access the indicators, you can just click on this tab right here. Okay, so if I click on the indicators tab, okay, I can go ahead and search. Okay, I can go ahead and search, or just click one of these folders and then look for the indicators. Okay, so we talked about the MACD, okay, which is the moving average, convergence, divergence. Okay, so if I just click it right there, it will pop up my chart. Okay, and again, so this is not a MACD explanation video. I'm just showing you an example. Okay, so as you can see, the MACD has a middle line. Okay, then if the price goes up this middle line right here, okay, that means it's buying. okay? If the price goes down, that means it's selling, okay? So let's say if traders, this is a strategy you might use is like, if the price is going up, okay, you might be able to buy, okay? If the price goes above this middle line, okay, you might continue with your buys, okay? When it reaches a point where it's overbought, then you might look at selling it, okay? Same thing with the sell, okay? With this below, okay? When the price goes below the middle line, okay, you're looking to sell. When it's oversold, you're looking to buy again, okay? All right, so let's talk about now the RSI. So if I go back to the indicators and then search for the RSI, okay, relative strength index, okay, so I pull it up on my chart. Same thing, okay, it has the middle line, okay, so when the price is above the middle line, that means it's buying, okay. When it's overbought, you might look at, selling it, okay. When it's below the middle line, okay, that means it's selling. So when it's oversold, you might look at buying it, okay. All right, so I've said everything, so let me go back to the presentation and to talk about the last type of analysis, okay. All right, so the last type of analysis I want to talk about is sentiment analysis, okay. And sentiment analysis is analysis based on the sentiment of different players in the market, okay. And one of the tools you can use is the commitment of traders report, okay. I'll show this to you later. And then another thing you can use for sentiment analysis is a long or short ratio, okay. Remember, long means buy and short means sell. So in other words, this is the buy to sell ratio, okay. I'll also show this to you later on, okay. And the websites that you can use are right here, okay. You can use batcha.com and also Forex Factory, okay. So let me head back to let me go to these websites and then I show you what I've just explained, okay. All right, so we're here at batchat.com, okay. So what you can do is just you can select any of these, okay. So I'm going to go with futures, okay. So if I select futures, you can go ahead and select your commitment of traders, okay. This will give you the report, okay, the commitment of traders report, okay. So if I select that, then it will give me different assets that I can choose, okay. As you can see, we can go ahead and look at grains, energies, okay, livestock, and so on and so on, okay. So let's say I wanted to look at the crude oil report, okay. So just click on crude oil, okay. So it will bring it up, okay. It will bring up the chart, all right. And what I want you to focus on is this, okay. So as you can see right here, red means commercial speculators, okay. Red means commercial speculators, okay. And green means non-commercial speculators, all right, or large speculators, okay. And the purple means small speculators, okay. So as you can see here, so this is a sentiment and it runs all the way from 2022, as you can see, 2022 up to 2025, okay. So like I said, the green line right here represents the large speculators or the non-commercial speculators. Then the middle purple line represents small speculators. Then the line below represents commercial, all right, represents the commercial speculators, okay. So another analysis, because now this is over time, this is for a very long time, okay. So let's say for the green line, let's say you could have a strategy, because I myself, I don't trade the sentiment analysis, but I'm just giving you an example, okay. So let's say the green line, who are the large speculators, okay, was selling crude oil, because this is the crude oil chart, remember, okay. You're looking at the crude oil, right? So let's say they were selling crude oil, so you might also look at selling, okay, because large speculators are one of the players that drive the market, okay. Then going to the commercial speculators, let's say they were buying, because as you can see, it's going up, okay. They were buying crude oil, okay. And at this point you might say, okay, since they bought it, okay, I'll be looking, the next thing I'll be looking at doing is selling, because they might reach a point where, because they can't buy forever, okay, they might reach a point where they'll sell, okay. So you might just focus on or you might just wait for the sell. Okay, you might have a strategy like that. Okay, so you can go ahead and do your research on some of the strategies that you can use when it comes to sentiment analysis, but I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so if they're buying, you might wait for that time when they start selling, so that you also start selling. All right. All right, so now next thing, let me go to the long and short ratio, and for that I'm going to go to Forex Factory. Okay, so if I go on Forex Factory, if I go on the home page right here, okay, and I scroll down, okay, this right here, let me expand this. Okay, this right here is the example of the long and short ratio, or the buy to sell ratio. Okay, so this light blue represents the buyers. Okay, the light blue color that you see right here represents buyers. Then the light red color right here, hope you can see it, represents the sellers. Okay, so this is the ratio of buyers to sellers. Okay, so let's say you went to this website right here. There are other websites that you can also go and use. You can also go and access a tool like the long and short ratio, but for this example I'm going to be using Forex Factory. Okay, all right, so a strategy you can have is, let's say for the euro USD. Okay, at this point right here, 47%, okay, who constitute of 78 traders, okay, are willing to buy. Okay, then 53% of the traders, who are 88, are willing to sell. Okay, so you might have a strategy that says, okay, if the sellers are more than 70%, then I'm willing to sell. Okay, if the sellers go beyond 90, then I'm willing to buy. Again, because you can't sell forever. Okay, so they might sell it to a certain point, and then next thing they'll be looking at is to buy. So you might have a strategy like that. Okay, I'm just giving an example. The same thing, so you might say one of the strategies that you can use, if the buyers, let's say, are 85%, I'm willing to buy. And if the buyers go above 90, then I'm willing to sell, because they've overbought that pair. Okay, that's one of the examples. Okay, all right, so quick recap of what we just talked about. We talked about fundamental analysis, and we said fundamental analysis is based on economic and news events. Okay, we also talked about technical analysis, and we said it's based on concepts like support and resistance. Okay, candlestick patterns, indicators like the RSI and the MACD. We also talked about sentiment analysis, which is based on the sentiment of different players in the market. Okay, all right, so I've come to the end of this video. I'll see you in another one. Bye.